And welcome back, everybody. The purpose of this particular video is I want to show you guys what an SKS looks like after about 2,200 rounds of corrosive surplus ammunition. The ammo that I fired out of this gun is the Yugoslavian M67 ball. It's an excellent round. It shoots very well. It is mildly corrosive. I allowed this rifle to sit up for a period of about a month with no cleaning. Believe me, it was hard because this is a Type D and these things aren't cheap. But went ahead and let the thing sit up real good and rust up good, so I can show you worst case scenario what'll happen if you don't clean after using corrosive ammo. We're going to bust this thing apart a little further than what we've done here, and we're going to get it cleaned up, and then I'll give you guys an idea of the process as I go, and then also we'll look at the pan after I've collected all the waste materials and all the junk that's basically been scrubbed out of this bad boy. We're going to use a little hot water and simple green. You see that the gas port area and the gas block definitely got some surface rust around it. The inside is actually not that bad, but you see that you'll get some rust starting to develop, and you see those bluish looking areas around the actual hole there. What that's from is actually from copper deposits. They begin to oxidize, and that's what gives them that color. The inside of the muzzle brake is pretty much coated in a nice film of surface rust. Of course, this will clean up, no problem, but that's what will happen. I mean, you'll get surface rust that starts to develop, and that's just a very ugly thing. You don't want that. You can see here on the trigger group, we've got a nice coat of surface rust. There's rust all over the interior surfaces. I know it might be a little bit difficult to see. It's light surface rust, but it will clean up. You can see the mainspring for the hammer. It's got a nice coat of surface rust all the way around it. So all it takes is for those powder residues to come into contact with the metal surfaces, and you got instant trouble. Here we have the bolt and carrier. You can see that they are coated in a nice ugly coat of rust through and throughout. And again, that's after 2,200 rounds. That's some nasty stuff. It's probably hard to tell in the video, but you do got a nice coat of bronze colored surface rust all over the whole bolt. Definitely need to go ahead and get the whole bolt apart so I can make sure this channel is clean. Can hear that moving back and forth. That's normal. You want the firing pin to have free movement. All of the gas forces are actually directed right on this carrier in this area. You can see that it's coated in a nice ugly bit of surface rust all over it. I'll show you a little bit of how I get this clean. We're going to use the old-fashioned way because I know that's what most of you are going to have access to, and not the ultrasonic, so we're going to do this old school. For cleaning in general, water and simple green is probably one of the best universal solvents there is. It just really does a great job of breaking up a lot of this crud and stuff. We're just going to get in here with some elbow grease and clean some of this stuff. I guess you would consider this the poor man's way of doing it. If you got an ultrasonic cleaner, if you do enough gun cleaning to merit buying an ultrasonic, it's a much quicker way to get a good result. This stuff's really skanky. I mean, after that much time, letting this stuff sit up for that period of time, I mean, you can see just chunks of carbon and rust and just all kind of junk falling off here. Eventually you're going to have some just nasty buildup, especially if you go for an extended period of time without cleaning it like I did this one. I mainly let this thing set up on purpose just so we could show you guys just how nasty it can really get if you neglect it. And that's basically what I did. I purposely neglected this. This right here is an excellent example of why you should always clean and inspect your firearms a lot. You can see right here that this extractor is chipped. It'll need to be replaced. Right there where the end of my index is. See the chip? That should be a continuous loop. I'm sure it'll still work, but for safety's sake, we're going to replace this. So we see everything here cleaned up nice. Not too many issues there. Got a broken extractor no big deal. That's easy to replace. Pretty much a drop-in fit. Any of those are going to do just fine. Everything else looks okay. A little bit of light surface rust across the board. The main point of this video, people, is I just want to drive home the fact of, the importance of gun cleaning in general, and also to show, what can happen when you neglect your firearms. I mean, I let this thing sit up on purpose just to, see what would happen, and, we see this definitely not pleasant. Basically, when you have dirty guns, you just speed up the wear process on the gun. It wears quicker. It doesn't run as good. And that's something you want to keep in check. You always want your gun to be clean and happy and run well. And that's a very important aspect of firearms ownership. I'll show you how skanky this water is. I mean, you can see how dirty this water is. It's really nasty. So I'm going to get these parts dried off and get my gun reassembled, and I think we're good to go. But hopefully I drove the point home as to why it's important to keep these guns clean. That Yugo M67 ball is some really good stuff, but you've got to follow proper cleaning procedures.